So, a little bit of a continuing story about this vehicle here, the one with the screechy gearbox. Now you can probably see from my appearance that we've had a few problems trying to find a good gearbox, a transfer box and a gearbox. I'm going to show you that in a minute. I'm going to show you some things to look for. But first of all, one of the most horrible jobs that you have to do is steam clean off the old gearbox. Now Nick brought me another one yesterday, absolutely blathered in dirt. The most important thing before you start pulling boxes apart is to clean them off. Now fortunately I've got a nice high pressure steam cleaner and we've only got a dirt floor, so it's full of mud, not oil, so we're going to give it a blast. Hello. As you can probably see, it's a filthy job, and this is why I charge for cleaning. I actually charge more for cleaning than I do for actually doing the jobs, because I hate it. It's a mucky job, but somebody's got to do it. Now, there is a reason why I'm doing it, and you should do it yourself. Because I'm going to take the end cover off this and show you real time what this gearbox is like, because it's an LT77. They had the notorious problem. Oh, wait a minute, I'll turn this off. They had a notorious problem of splines wearing on the output shaft of the gearbox. And that means a strip down and a new shaft. Now I'm going to show you again later on the internals of the original gearbox of this Land Rover, but the reason why we're cleaning it off, we don't want, if it is a good gearbox, we don't want to get dirt and crap inside and then strip it all down to clean off the dirt and crap that was on the outside. So, and another thing, I want to see what the serial numbers are on this. Now this has been rebuilt. It's got the, if you can see here, it's got plates on. Wait a minute. I don't want to put my camera too close because of the steam cleaning. You see, it's got a plate on here, and it's also got a plate on here, which says it's been rebuilt. But has it been rebuilt? Well, has it been rebuilt with the modified gear on the output shaft, so the first gear in your transfer case, if you see what I mean? So I'm going to let that dry off a little bit and we'll go and have a look at the original gearbox of this Land Rover. When I pulled the transfer box off the car, I was kind of keen to get it all done and finished, but the next day when I looked at the spline here, well, have a look at this. Can you see? I'll rotate it a bit so you can see. They're actually worn halfway. Can you see? The spline's been chattering. That hasn't got much of a life left. Oops. But not only that, we've got that. And we've got that. There you see. And to a lesser extent, we've got chips on here. Not good. It's perhaps what we'd call an uneconomic repair. It's going to cost more in parts than the actual box is worth. So he's brought another box down, which is outside. And what we're going to do, just out of a bit of fun, well, not fun, we're going to take the end cover off that gearbox I've just steam cleaned off, so we can have a look inside and see this, and I'll show you exactly If the gearbox has been built correctly, there'll be just oil under the back cover. If it's like this, it will be all rusty. So this is the problem with older vehicles and mismatching bits and pieces here, there and everywhere. It was a big problem on these LT77s, and I tell you something, there were so many variations, it's unbelievable. Now I picked up, I just want to show you a couple of lay shafts that I've got down here. This is the military one, it's a 1.6, oops, you can't see, can you? This is a 1.6 low range, and Lord knows what that is, but it's certainly not the same. The gears are thinner on this one. I don't know where it came off, it was a brand new one I picked up somewhere on eBay. But you can see by the number of teeth, just a visual look, it's completely different. So it's really important that you get the right number on the transfer case to get the right gears and stuff like that. Just don't buy them willy-nilly saying that it's a LT230 and want some gears for it, because it ain't going to work. So sadly, this is not really worth repairing. It possibly could if I've got some spare time, but this is a winter project to put back. But again, it's the only decent thing about these military gearboxes was it was a different ratio and a bit lower first gear, so that was kind of helpful. So let's go and take that cover off and let's have a look. I've established that this gearbox going off the number is a 20D. That signifies it's a 1.6 low ratio transfer box. So what we're going to do first of all, we're going to take the cover off. Now notice this is an aluminium cover with an adapter here for the bearing. The old one was a steel cover. There are different types. Well, obviously this is a little bit moderner, so we don't know what we're going to get inside. Now, one thing you've got to know when you take these covers off is the orientation of the plate. It isn't symmetrical. Alright, even though it's got 6 bolts in, it isn't the same. So what we do is we get a little punch and we mark some punch marks in a line, so that when we put it back on, if we put it back on, it's going to be good. So let's take the cover off. Now this has been siliconed on. Yeah, there's silicone everywhere on it. They didn't use a gasket, so it might be a bit tricky getting off. Now some of these covers had also Phillips screws in, so we might have to run and get a Phillips screwdriver, we'll see. So that's that off. Silicone gets everywhere. Don't use silicone. It's not good stuff. That's why you use a proper black silicone for this, because it doesn't peel off and go anywhere. That's more like silicone for a bathroom. That's not good. Now, where's my hammer? Right. So using our little thin wedge, we'll pry that off, and hopefully inside we can see what it's like. And it's a beauty! It's a beauty, so that's good. So how can I tell? Clean, 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 clean. Inside there. I bet you £1 to a penny that this has got the hole in the gear. Alright, let's have a look. I'll move the camera back again. If you see rust in here, walk away. Alright? If it's got rusty in here, don't bother with it. Alright? Right. So we've marked it up. There are no screw holes in here, but all there is silicone. If you're going to use a wedge like this, use it at the top, not at the bottom, because you can damage the flange. But there's no other way of getting this off. Some have gaskets on, some don't. Oil. Very rare. Nice clean oil too. So let's see what that's like. Oh dear. You know, I should put money on these things. See the holes in here? Look how nice and clean it is. Can you see the spline? Perfect. That transfer box is perfect. That means the output shaft is perfect too. So I think we've got a good gearbox. I don't want to take that gearbox apart. Oh, and here's a good thing. Here's top tip. You can actually put these in backwards. I've seen it done before, to my detriment, because one of my guys put the gear in backwards and it only runs on the end of tooth here. The way you can tell it instantly, the PTO drive goes to the back. So we're going to pop that in so we don't get it dirty. That won't line up now, probably. Wait a minute. There we go. And I'm just going to put that cover back on. Line up your bolts. And I'm going to put a couple of bolts in, and we're going to put this down on the floor, and then we're going to drain off the oils, and we're going to split the gearbox, and this gearbox is going to go into the Defender. But as there's something a little bit of an extra, I had a Disco 1 brought down to me with a V8 in it last night. Again, Nick brought this down, and he wants me to put the 1.2 transfer case in off that one onto this engine, onto this gearbox here. It's a bit of a wet day and I'm not looking forward to it really. So I'm going to leave it a little bit. We'll do that in another video, but I hope you like that and you saw firsthand. If you're going to buy a second-hand gearbox, look at this, or a transfer box, anything. So, because it works equally for transfer boxes and gearboxes, LT77 or R380s. The early R380s suffered the same problem. You must make sure that when you put your you've got a new gearbox from Ashcroft's or whatever it is, and it's got a new shaft in it, you must make sure it's got the proper gear on it. It's really important, because otherwise it won't last. Alright, so I hope you like that video. This is going to make this Land Rover better. We'll see you in the next video.